Hello and welcome to my channel Crafting with Shuttermonkey. I'm Amanda, also known as Shuttermonkey, and I live in Ayrshire on the west coast of Scotland. Today is Thursday the 13th of April and I am a week late in filming my next episode. Now this is episode 24 because the last time it was the 23rd to the 23rd and it was episode 23, so I think I'm right in saying it's episode 24. So I'm a week late, but my laptop wasn't here. Well, it's not actually my laptop, it's my husband's laptop, but he took it away to work with him and I had no way of recording the sound. So, and then the next thing it was Easter weekend, and then, well, I don't know, it was like Tuesday and Wednesday, and here we are a week later and at least I'm here and it's not a month later. Right, so we are going to jump straight in today and I'm going to show you those other sock designs that I'm working on just now, okay? So I put them on a wee board to make them look pretty. Oh, they'll probably will fall off and then I'll be like, ah! Ta-da! They're sitting up there quite nicely, aren't they? What? No, they're not. Anyway, that's what I get for being too smart, eh? These are all on here and what I need is names for these socks. So see as I'm showing you them, it'd be nice if you could if you can think of a name, just leave a wee comment below. But I would like to put them together as a collection. Once I've released them all, they'll be together as a collection. Or maybe once I've got 2 or 3 of them released, I could start adding them to the collection. But there's just no point in me releasing a collection and saying, you're going to have 6 socks eventually in this. Because I'm no Stephen West. And people aren't going to jump in and buy all my patterns on the hope that these are going to be nice. Although you've seen them first, so I don't know. I'm gibbering, aren't I? Anyway, here we go. Here they all are. I hope my finger doesn't look too scabby. I was trimming the dry skin off the side of my nails and I went too far. I tend to do that. Do you do that? You end up trimming the nail, you think it's just the dry skin you're getting, and the next thing your finger's all sore and bleeding. And it's no sore, it's just unsightly looking. Anyway, distracted already. Right, I did show you these ones last time, the green ones. Okay, so I need a wee name for those. Although I'm wondering if I can call those my Ayrshire socks, because it reminds me of that wee song, Green Green Grass. The 3-year-old grandson keeps singing that. And there's the pink ones. And the blue ones. And the yellow ones. And the grey ones. These could get called Dreek, couldn't they? Dreek. Bit of a grey. And that's the stripy ones. And as you can probably guess, that's Old Shale on there. That is my comfort. That's my comfort pattern. I love Old Shale. And it's just wee stripes. Other leftovers to make up one wee sock. So you'll be seeing a lot more of those soon. The first one that I would like to release is the green one. So I'm working on that just now, and hopefully within the next 2 weeks that will be published as a pattern. Now see if you've already bought the Dodo sock pattern, the toe-up version. I'm going to release this that you'll get a reduction in the price rather than having to buy, because it's not really a full sock pattern you need. It's only the textured part you would need if you've already got the Dodo sock. So that's the plans. I'll not talk about it too much because you'll see them all again and again and again and again. But that is them. That's them all there. And I did say to you last time I would have them all blocked and ready to show off. But there we go. A nice wee bundle. They feel really nice and soft, so they do. They will be really nice for currying in. And that wee board that had them all on, that's just mount board. It's a couple of sheets of mount board. You know the board that you buy to mount your photographs? I've hot glued them together and then covered it in a wee bit of wadding. So there's wadding on this side, and it's really good if you're doing patchwork. See, even like some EPP, because you can sit your patchwork on there and it almost sticks. I think I've still got my wee sewing needle on there. This has usually got EPP sitting on it, one of the many whips that I have. And they're really good for that. But it's a Laurie Holt tutorial, and there's not much sewing on it. You can sew your binding, you can stitch that down, but after that it's all hot glued into place, and it's really, they're really easy to make, and they come in handy for more than just sewing and patchwork. They hold your socks up a wee bit too. Right, well, not if you're wearing the socks, they hold them up if you're just trying to show them on a video. They don't hold them up if you're wearing them. I think that's pretty obvious, mind you, isn't it? Right, anyway, let's move on to the knitting section now, okay? And I got the shawl finished. So, and in true Amanda fashion, I got the shawl finished. On the 31st of March, I finished knitting it. And then I left it lying about until Monday. So what date was Monday? It was the 10th. It was Easter Monday. And I thought, it's been sitting about for 10 days. I need to get the wee gaps that I showed you the last time. So I did. I get those joined. So that's one of the gaps down here. Let's see if I can hold that up. It hasn't been blocked yet. And as soon as I'm finished recording this video today, I need to go get this washed and get it blocked, because baby is due in 3 weeks' time, and we all know what babies are like. They come when they're ready, don't they? They don't abide by dates, and you're not due until here. But I laced it up, and it's one of those things that had built up in my head. I'm not going to be able to do this. And I had some written instructions from the time that I spent with the tutor when I was training for doing the Evelyn Baxter classes. Now, she told us how to do lacing up, and I'd quickly scribbled it down. And I thought, I've got instructions there, because Joyce told us how to do it. Now, it was an optional thing. We were only to do it in the classes if we had time, and it's something that we didn't have time for in the 2-day class. The time that we had with the tutor when we were training was 3 days, but the classes we taught was only 2 days, so certain things had to be cut out. But when I finally get around to doing these YouTube videos for tutorials, I'll put it in. It'll be even nicer once it's blocked. But I hope you can see that okay. I'm looking in the wee screen to see what I can see, and if I stretch it out, but it works really well. And basically what you do, this was a sloped edge here, and this was a sloped edge, but there was a yarn over at each edge. So what you do is you go along and you pick up the stitches with a knitting needle, same on the other side, and then you just use a crochet hook. You slip the first stitch from the front needle onto your crochet hook, take the back one, hook it through, back to the front, get the next stitch, hook it through, and it worked really well, and I'm really pleased with it. And I did that on all 4 corners. So it's huge now. And it looks lovely. I'm really pleased with it. But what I really need to do is go get it washed, get it blocked, so it's ready for when this baby comes. You can see the wee zigzag edging down there. I don't actually know what size it is, but when I pin it out to block it, I will get a wee measurement, and I can let you know. I can write it on the screen. But it's just lovely. Really pleased with it. My daughter-in-law actually did a scan yesterday. She had a growth scan to go for, and she asked me did I want to go with her. Now I've not been to a scan since I had my daughter, and she's 27, and it was actually really nice just going, and the first thing the scan operator had said is, oh my, look at all the hair that baby's got. And then at the end, when she'd done all the measurements and done all the checks and made sure everything was all okay, and as it should be, my daughter-in-law says to her, how do you know that she's got a lot of hair? So she was showing us how you can tell, and she says her hair's actually so long. She says, see that white bit around there? That's her hair flicking out at the bottom, at the back of her neck. She's got so much hair, it's all kind of matted and flicking out. So she's probably going to need baubles pretty soon to tie her hair up, isn't she? But there we go. That's my job for this afternoon, because this needs to be ready. And the other baby thing, that is going to be off my whip list, because I put that on my whip list. So that's a finished whip. And there we go, the wee cardigan as well. She's ready to go too. She just needs some buttons. I'm going to give it a wee wash and then I'll put the buttons on. And that wee marker there, that's just a wee marker to let me know where the top button goes. And I know if the top button goes there, I'll get the rest in positioned okay. But I just left it in. But it looks so tiny, doesn't it? Teensy toty. When you say it'll be too big for her, it'll be probably drown her. They said yesterday at the scan she was approximately £7.12. And there's still another 3 weeks to go. But I'm really pleased with that. I need to get wee photographs of this with the one that I made for her dad, because I did that with Harley's one. I get pictures of the white one that I made for my son and the blue one together. So I need to do that as well with this one. Right, let's just pop that out the way. So that will go, and the wee hat will go as well that I knitted. You've seen that lots of times before, I'll not bore you with that again. But if I get them all blocked and I get a nice picture of them, I'll show you that next time, okay? Right, what am I working on knitting wise just now? Whips. Well, you know I've got lots and lots of whips, but we'll not talk about that just now. But the main thing that I've been working on the past, what date on the 13th, the past 2 weeks, is the jumper for my daughter. Now, I'm just going to show you this, because I think this looks really nice, all sitting in a box. So, try not to blind you with the glaring light. That is all the advent colours. Well, sorry, that's 22 of them in there. I've still got that one there and that one there. So there's still another 2. But I've kept those aside to use for the collar. The jumper's got quite a high collar, and it also folds back in itself. It's a double collar, you fold it back and sew it down in the inside. So I thought I'll keep 2 colours aside for working on the collar. So the jumper has actually started at the green, and I've worked all the way up to the pink. This here is actually because I made a mistake, and I'll get to that. But I had to rip it out a wee bit, so I had a wee bit each colour, so I just tied it all together. Thought I might still need it later on. But this is a great wee box. I bought this in Hobbycraft, and I'll link it below if it's something that you're interested in. I think it was about £8, but these wee bits here, that's extra wee bits of plastic, and they actually slot in. The gaps were smaller, but these are removable, and you can adjust it to whichever size you like. I think there was 48 slots in this box, and I only needed 24 for an advent. Technically, I've only got 22 just now, so I'm using those extra these two wee ducats. I'm using those just to store all my extra wee bits of plastic. But see, just working through it and taking the next colour out, I really enjoy it. Oop. And it's great because if you can keep it all away, you're not worried about it sitting in a box, or maybe the cat comes in and knocks it over and all your colours get mixed up. I just have to remember to keep clicking it closed, because if I don't click it closed and that cat comes in, blaming it all on the cat. If I knock it over, it's not all the cat's fault. Right, enough about the yarn. Here is the jumper. How pretty is that? It's so nice, isn't it? If I hold it that way, you'll see all the colours. See them all. I'm really, really pleased with it. And obviously that's the back of the neck here at the back of the jumper. It is so nice to knit with. It's been so nice working on it. It's a double knitting weight calendar I had, and it does have a little bit of sparkle through it as well. But my daughter gave me a jumper that she really liked. She liked the size, she liked the fit of it. And I took all the measurements from that jumper. So I'm rather than taking her measurements and, oh, how baggy do you want it to be, we started with a jumper that she had that she liked the fit of. Now, changes that I've made to the pattern, there aren't many. Oh, did I bring the pattern through? I did. It is the Gartrell Crew by Tanis Fibre Arts. This is a paid for pattern on Ravelry, and there's nothing wrong with the pattern, but I've just made a couple of changes. Just because. So, the first change, it's really the main, the first change was the size of the rib at the bottom. I think you were only meant to do just over 1 inch, and I've got 2 inches, so I've used 2 different colours of green. And the way it worked out, it's only just over 1 inch each colour I need to do. I've got the 22 colours in here, and it's 8 rows. So I did 16 rows, and I think I should only have done about 10, but I didn't want to change over colour, and I just thought it needed that wee bit extra rib at the bottom. So there's the first 2 colours were the green, and then we move into the kind of tealy aquas before getting into the blue. And then see when you come up to this bit here where you cast off for the armholes, what the pattern asked you to do was, for the size that I'm doing, which is the second adult size, there's 16 sizes to this jumper. There are 6 kids sizes. The pattern actually goes from a 0 to 6 months right up to a 64-inch chest. So I think it's 6 different kids sizes and 10 adult sizes. So I'm working the second adult size. It's a 34-inch I'm working. And for my size, you had to cast off these stitches at the beginning for your armhole. And then you were to work 10 rows straight. And then you were to start decreasing in every second row. And I thought, I don't want that. I don't want that big straight bit here. So I started decreasing every 4th row. That's the way you would normally do it for raglan shaping. But then I had to adapt. Obviously here, change the shaping a wee bit. So because I've worked the first 10 rows, there is some decreasing in it. So I had to adapt it. But then see when you go through the pattern and there's 16 different sizes and you're circling the size that you need. I circled the wrong one and I had the wrong number of decreases. So I got up to here and I didn't have the right number of stitches and I had to rip it back down. But it wasn't that big a deal. I didn't have to rip it down too far. It was only a bit down to there. But I always end up making a silly mistake, don't I? So that's why I've got that tiny wee ball. It's just been wound up. It's all the wee, because the decreasing was slightly different and I'd done it wrong. I ended up with wee lengths for each colour, but I'll keep them in case I need them. Now the biggest concern that I have is I've got the back done and I've got most of the front done. The front I'm actually ready to start the neck shaping, so I'm up here at the neck and I've got the last 2 pink colours to work, just these 2 at the top, and it's just going to come up the side here at the neck, either side. So I've got another 16 rows to go on each side, just up either side. And I've used about 1/3 of each 20 gram skein for the back, and then I've used 1/3 for the front. And I'm starting to worry that I'm going to run out of yarn to do the sleeves. So what I might do is I could change the colour order and I could start with pink, because I've got a lot more of the pink, because you use a lot less pink up there than you are using, for instance, down here, because it's not as wide. So you use less pink, and I thought I could start with pink at the bottom and work my way up, because by the time I get back to the green, you're on the raglan shaping at the top of the sleeves and you won't need that much. So I might do that. Did speak to my daughter about it. She was fine with that. It didn't have to have the sleeves didn't have to start with the green and work the way up. She was happy enough. Or the only other way I could do it is to start with pink and then change into green a wee bit further up. So it would start there with the green on the sleeves and then work up, but it would still end in pink when you get to the top. So I don't know. I'll need to speak to her, but I don't think I've got enough yarn to do it exactly the same as this. Or I could start it in the green when I run out, just start changing, but it would mean that we would have big blocks of pink at the top. I don't think she would have a problem with that actually, so it could maybe mean for the raglan up was all green. The raglan up was all pink, a big solid piece of different colours of pink, just to have enough. So I don't know if she wants me to break that pink up and put some at the bottom, reverse the order, but it's looking lovely so far. I'm really, really pleased with it. It doesn't look that much because it rolls back in itself, but So that was the Castle View Yarns Advent Calendar from 2022, and that was a mermaid themed calendar. The other option that I may have for sleeves is, I do have this wee bit of leftover. It's a wee bit of a mess, sorry, it's kind of like yarn vomit, isn't it? And I've got my test swatch as well. I've probably got about 20 grams here. I could frog that, give it a wee soak, frog it back out and let it dry. And I've got this wee bit that was in the outside of my cake. I could use those, I could get those in the sleeves somewhere just to, so it's not all a big solid chunk of pink. I could do that. I need to speak to her about it and ask her what she wants, because she's the one that's going to be wearing it. But that's another option. But this was the Castle View Yarns Advent Calendar from 2022. And as I say, I had the double knitting calendar with a wee bit of sparkle through it, and it was a mermaid theme. Really, really pleased with how that's knitting up. I absolutely love it, and I love working on it. I don't think it's something that I would wear. But then see, after doing it, after starting working on it for my daughter, I thought I could have mixed that with a wee bit of mohair, with a wee a strand or two of mohair, did it in even bigger needles, and it would have toned the colours down ever so slightly, and I would have probably worn that. But I love it, absolutely love it. Next time I see it's probably going to be finished, because I just can't put it down. Every time I sit down, I'm like, I want to work on this. And where are they? They're all hidden in this rolled up edge. Look at all those ends I'm going to have to sew in. We'll see if I'm loving it then, eh? Right. I'm going to put this away now. And as I say, that's the two colours. Use that for our collar. Because what I'll maybe have to do is do so many rows in that. And then if I run out of this one, I'll change back to that, because the collar folds over inside and it's stitched down. I am using the Knit Pro Cubics. So these are the wee square needles to knit the main body of this jumper, and I'm using 3.25s for the rib at the bottom. And the only reason, I think the pattern said 3.5mm, but I'm using 3.25s because I didn't have straight needles in 3.5. And I thought, I'm not going to buy straight needles just to do one rib piece, so it's on the 3.25s and then the 4s. And I think that was the only other change that I made. Apart from really, the biggest change has been the raglan shaping. I just didn't want a big straight bit after the armhole, after decreasing under the armhole. The only other thing I've been working on knit-wise is my triangulum blanket, but I don't have that much more to show you. It's still sitting, there's only a couple of green bits attached, so I'll leave that and I'll show you it next time, okay, rather than showing you it's practically identical to the last time I showed you. Right, so let's move on to the crochet section. And there's only one thing that I've got to show you crochet-wise. I'm looking about in frantic hope that something will materialise, and no, here, you did this. No chance. Is this. Now, this is a little test crochet for Natalie of Natty. This is her, let me just check the name. It's the mini yarn cozy, and I'm doing the ribbed version. Now, I've had quite a wee bit of a bother with this. Nothing to do with the pattern, it's my crochet tension. I am a very tight crocheter. And I know I'm a very tight crocheter, but when I do most of the things that I make are toft, and I tend to stick to a 3mm. Even toft tell me to check your tension. I know mine's is tight, and my animals, my dolls, my toys always come out smaller, and that's fine with me because you can't see any of the stuffing, and I'm happy with that. If they were coming out bigger, I would be more alarmed, because then you're going to run out of wool if you've bought a kit. But when they're coming out smaller, that's fine with me, and I like them being tight. But when it comes to crocheting for somebody else, you've got to get your tension right. We were told what the gauge should be, and we were to do a little gauge swatch. It was the beginning of the base, and it's supposed to be on a 2.75mm hook. I tried it on a 2.75 and I was way under, so I then moved to a 3. I was still small. Tried on a 3.25. I had to come up to a 3.5mm. So to get my gauge to match the gauge for the pattern, I had to come up 4 hook sizes. And then when you move on to the main body, the cosy, you're supposed to go from whatever, it was 275 in the bottom, come down to a 225 to do this ribbed portion here. And I did, I come back down to a 3mm, and it wouldn't, there was no stretch in it. I couldn't get a 20, it's a 20 gram mini size I'm testing. I couldn't get the mini skein in it. It wouldn't stretch enough. So I frogged it, ripped it back out to the beginning of the base, and I came up to the 3.5mm, which I had originally used in the bottom. And it's okay. I'll even show you. I've got one of these little mini cakes here. I should probably actually check it with a 4-ply mini. Not that it'll matter, because you could be using a 20 gram double knitting mini, but that'll be okay. And let me show you. There you go. It does fit. I've got my little 20 gram mini in here. Oop. I've not finished it. I've still got to do an I-cord edging on the top, but I've really enjoyed it. But you see how when I put my cosy inside, you can maybe give me a wee bit of advice here. When I put my mini inside, the ribbed portion is almost standing up. It's straight. But you saw it before, it was slanty. And if I leave it just sitting for a wee minute, it'll slope again. It's a diagonal. And I don't know why it's doing that. And I'm too scared. There's a Discord chat group that all the test crocheters can go have a chat on, show their progress, and other people are putting on their pictures, and I'm thinking, theirs is standing up nice and straight, mine's isn't, mine's is sloping. I quite like it swirling, but I don't know if it's supposed to. I'm going to have to put my big girl pants on and go ask, aren't I? Because I don't think that it's too tight, because I'm getting it round the mini skein, but it's not supposed to slope like that. I don't think so. Or maybe it's just because, maybe it just needs blocked. Because I watched a video yesterday and Natalie was showing, she was clearing out some of her knitting accessories, knitting and crochet accessories, and hers were folded like that. And they were in a bundle. And if I do that, it kind of does stand up straighter. So I'm going to go check it. I'm going to be brave. I'm going to go ask. Because I was worried that it was a tension issue or it's something, what am I doing wrong? But then again, you're testing the pattern, aren't you? Other people are going to ask about this. And as long as your 20 gram mini fits inside, does it matter if it looks like that? I don't know. I need to go ask, don't I? But maybe some of you know, and you can enlighten me before I go ask and somebody says, no, that's fine if it looks like that. There is one other tester who is crocheting this, and I noticed that hers was slightly swirling, but hers is swirling in the opposite direction. Maybe she's in Australia. I don't know. Maybe she's in the southern hemisphere. So when you flush the toilet, it swirls one way up here, but the other way down in the southern hemisphere. But I just thought that was quite interesting. Mine's is sloping. But I've enjoyed doing this, and it's been quite interesting just seeing how someone else organises test knits, test crochets. Because I took part in one, a test knit for the Gingerbread Dream Socks at the end of 2021, and I really did enjoy that. Even though I didn't get my tension right on that either. Oh my goodness, maybe people should watch when I say I'll test something for them. But it's cute. And I say there's a wee I-cord to go round the top to finish it off. I've never done a crochet I-cord, so I'm quite looking forward to doing that. But that's the only crochet I've got to show you. And you would not believe how many hours I've worked on this. It's tiny. But the main thing is, you can get a little mini inside. I'm pulling all the insides out of that mini now. And it does help keep, you could have them numbered, couldn't you? Lots of them for your advent minis. Use up all your leftovers. But I'm using a little bit of Lee Family yarn for this. Do you remember way back, was it the beginning of 2021, Lee Family Yarns and So Sweet Violet did the Rainbow Chronicles. Well, this was month 1, this was the January, and it was mini skeins, and it's leftovers that I had from that, because I have knitted some of them into hexagons, and I'm just using wee bits of leftovers. So it's quite cute, isn't it? And the 3.5mm hook, as I say, I had to come up 4 sizes to get my tension to match. I knew I was a tight crocheter, I didn't realise I was that tight. Every day's a school day, isn't it? Let's move on to the patchwork and quilting section. Okay, I've got one thing to show you here as well, and it's a work in progress. A new work in progress for the last time I spoke to you. And it's not that impressive looking. But this is going to be, when it's finished, it will be a fabric box. Now, this is a class that I am doing with the SWI in Ayrshire. It is a fabric box class, and this was day 1. So day 1 we had to make the outside piece and get that covered, and then we made the outside of the lid and we've got that covered, and we made the base. Now we've still got a few more bits to go because we have to make the inside of the box, and that will be covered as well. Now I'll show you the fabric I'm going to use for the inside of my box. It's this wee floral print, and that will be covered. We have to get that to the right size to make sure it fits inside our boxes. We'll have to get this padded and covered, and then that will sit. This will sit inside here once it's covered, so you won't see all that, the mess of the inside of the box. They are all padded, every piece is padded, and it's just been a wee bit of wadding, batting from leftovers from quilting, because I had a bundle of those, and you just take them along and you can do the padding with some of your leftover wadding. And the inside will look like that. That'll all be covered. We also need to make, so I think we've got the inside of the box to make a base for the inside of the box, and then we've got to make the lid, the outside and the inside for the lid. So all of the fabrics that I'm using are from the same range. They are part of a range by Coorie Collection. I'm sure that's how you pronounce the designer's name. It's C-O-R-I, Coorie Collection. Now this is a little red Riding Hood collection. Do you know what, I don't even know if it's got a name on it. Let me just check. Does it have a name? Little Red. Yeah. And this one that I've got is, this is a big panel. Now obviously those bits there are way too big to put on a box. But have I got two of them? No, just this one here. But see that wee bit there? Let me see. There we go. You can see them there. There's Little Red, and there's a wolf, and there's a wee sign that says Grandma's House. That's what's going to be on the top of my box. That'll be on the lid. I just love it. Really like it. So that'll be the top of my box. And then we've got this all lining. And as I say, the nice pop of colour, when you take the lid off, you've got all the florals in the inside. But I only have, I think I've got a couple of these panels, and I've got a different panel that's lots of bigger prints, but obviously they were no good for the box. But I'm looking forward to finishing that. We go back on Saturday. We were there on Saturday the 8th. We didn't actually get the lid piece finished or the base. So we had a wee bit of homework to do, and I did just finish my homework this morning. So that's me all up to date, ready to go back to class and get the lid done, and then all the inside pieces done. So hopefully next time when I come along in a couple of weeks' time, I will have a finished box to show you. But it's been such a good class. SWI ladies are very good at what they do, especially tutors to the level of McGuchan's level, and it was lovely to spend that time with her in a class, just picking up hints and tips, even just how to finish off a piece of thread when you're finished using a bit of thread. How do you secure it and how do you start it off? Because I always tie a knot, and I didn't have to do that. So I'm looking forward to finishing that. I'm glad my homework's done as well, because we go back on Saturday. So another couple of days, and I thought I'm going to be sitting at 6 o'clock on Saturday morning finishing this off, but I got it done. I've got it done, so I'm quite happy with that. Right, just before we go, I've just got a couple of things I wanted to show you. Acquisitions, really, rather than patchwork and quilt. Well, it's patchwork and quilting stuff. If you like using charm packs, these were down to £7.50 on Lovecrafts. Now, I really like Anila Hoey fabrics, and they had all of these down to from £15 to £7.50. Now, these are charm packs, and they've got 42 squares at 5 inches in them, and this is all from the Meander range. And these ones here are from the Make Time, so it's all stitching themed. There's scissors in there and some pins and polka dots, some gingham, but it's a really nice range of fabric. Make Time, that one, and Meander. And they also had, as well as having the bigger charm packs at 5 inches, they had the little mini charms as well. These were all half price as well. And I think they had other ranges. So if you go into Lovecrafts and search for charm packs and mini charm packs, see what they've got. I only bought the Anila Hoey ones because I really like Anila Hoey. But if you see, you might see something else that you like. But these ones are lovely. And I didn't have any of these fabrics that Anila released these in the past couple of years, and I didn't have them. So I was really pleased to add these to my collection. I really should sew with them, but... So, just in case you're interested in charm packs, pre-cut squares, these ones are 2.5 inches and these ones are 5 inches. But they're really handy. The only thing is they come through and there's so much, because they've been pre-cut and it's zigzags at edged, you end up with covered in little bits of fabric. You can give them a hoover first. If you don't want them to make a mess, just give a wee hoover. Get the hose of your hoover out and get around the edge. Suck up all those wee bits of fabric that's fallen off. And they also had some yardage as well. They had some full length pieces. I just got that one. I thought that might be quite nice if I was going to line something. It's just some little houses and scissors and glasses and love hearts. But that one's from the Make Time range as well. I shouldn't be buying any more fabric. I've got plenty. But when I saw Anila Hoey fabric on sale, and I didn't have any yet, but they had, I think they had other stuff in this range as well. I don't think the yardage of the Meander range was in sale yet, but I'll need to keep a wee lookout for that as well. But there we go. That is all I've got to show you today. Oh, I did get my blind finished, and I did get my blind up. It's hanging on the door. I should probably try and get a little bit of video and show you it working, because I'm really, really impressed with it. I'm quite chuffed with it, to be honest. And see, when I showed it to my grandsons and I said, I made that, the wee one was really impressed. I know he's only 3, but he was really, really impressed. So anyway, that really is all I've got to show you today. I need to do more regular videos, try and do them at least every 2 weeks, because I feel like if you leave it any longer, you get out of practice. And I've also got some other videos that I would like to show you. I think I'm going to try and share with you what was in my Evelyn Baxter box, because I haven't properly unpacked that yet and put everything away. And if I share with you what was in my box, it gives you a wee look into what tutorials are coming up later in the year as well, doesn't it? You'll know what seams I'm going to show you and what techniques I'm going to show knitting wise. And that really is all I've got to share with you today, okay? So maybe next time I come on and make a video, I'll have some baby news for you. Yep, exciting, okay? And I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.